What's the craziest combat story no one believes when you tell it? Mosul, Iraq, 2007. Our 8-man team was tasked with setting up an observation post in an abandoned apartment building. Routine mission. We'd done it 100 times before. At 2 a.m., we're watching a suspected IED factory across the street. Lieutenant Campbell is on the thermal scope. Rest of us rotating watch or catching what sleep we can on concrete floors. Sergeant Willis hears something. A scratching sound from the apartment next door. We'd cleared the building room by room when we arrived. It was empty, or so we thought. Campbell signals Dixon and me to check it out. Standard procedure. Weapons ready, night vision on. We stack at the door connecting the apartments. Dixon leads. I follow. The room is pitch black except for the green glow of our NVGs. Empty except for a broken chair and some garbage. Scratching sound is coming from a metal cabinet in the corner. Could be anything. A trapped animal, or an insurgent who slipped in while we were watching the street, or an IED waiting to be triggered. Dixon approaches the cabinet slowly. I cover him. Weapon trained on the doors. He reaches for the handle, pulls it open in one quick motion. I almost shot what came out, but it wasn't an insurgent. It was a chicken. A single white chicken that somehow got trapped in this abandoned apartment on the 5th floor of a bombed-out building in the middle of a war zone. The chicken is panicking, flapping around the room, and we're trying not to laugh and wake up the whole neighborhood. Then we hear something else. A low rumble outside. Vehicle approaching. We freeze. The chicken keeps flapping. Through my NVGs, I can see headlights stopping in front of our building. 3 SUVs, men getting out, armed. We need to get back to our position, but the chicken is making a ruckus. If these guys are insurgents checking out the building, they'll hear it for sure. Dixon grabs the chicken, tucks it under his arm like a football. We hustle back to our team's position. Campbell looks at us like we've lost our minds. Tango's outside, I whisper. At least 8. Approaching the building entrance. Willis gets on the radio, calls for backup. ETA 15 minutes. Too long if these guys decide to come upstairs. The chicken is still struggling, going to give away our position. Someone suggests we kill it, but nobody wants to slit a chicken's throat in the middle of an operation. Morales, our medic, pulls out a syringe. Ketamine, he whispers. Small dose will sedate it. So there we are, in the middle of a potential firefight, giving a combat trank to a chicken. It finally goes limp. We wrap it in a spare t-shirt and stash it in an empty ammo box. The tangos enter the building. We can hear them clearing rooms below us. Campbell makes the call. We're going to ambush them on the stairs if they come up. Better position. Funnel them into a choke point. Then the strangest thing happens. Call to prayer starts from a nearby mosque. The men downstairs pause. We hear them talking, then leaving. They get back in their vehicles and drive away. We maintain position until dawn. Complete the mission. When it's time to exfil, Dixon says, "What about the chicken?" The bird is starting to wake up from its combat nap. Campbell gives the order. We're taking it with us. Back at base, nobody believes our story. Until Dixon pulls the still groggy chicken from his assault pack. We named her Mosul. The colonel wanted to serve her for dinner, but our interpreter said that's bad luck. Saving an animal's life in combat means it saved yours too. Morales adopted her, got permission to keep her as a stress therapy animal for the unit, built her a coop behind the medical tent. Every morning at dawn, that chicken would crow like a rooster, best alarm clock on base, laid an egg almost daily. Morales would give them to the local kids. When our deployment ended, he couldn't bear to leave her behind. Got a veterinarian to forge paperwork declaring Mosul an emotional support animal. Smuggled her home on a C-17. That chicken lived another 8 years on Morales' farm in Kentucky. Had her own special coop with a sign that read, "Combat Veteran." Whenever we have reunions, we always toast the 6th member of our team. Most people think we're talking about someone who died. Nope, just a chicken that went on a special ops mission, got sedated with ketamine, and flew home on a military transport. Sometimes the craziest war stories aren't about heroism or tragedy. Sometimes they're about the random, absurd moments that remind you the world is still capable of being weird, even in a war zone.